A cool spring morning graced the United Nations headquarters, where the world's leaders had gathered for a summit on global peace initiatives. The buzz of conversation filled the grand hall until a strange humming silenced the murmurs. From the sky, a gleaming object descended, its sleek hull reflecting the sun's rays like a mirror. It landed gently on the lawn, causing a mixture of panic and awe. Security teams were in position as a panel on the side of the vessel slid open. A drone floated out, its surface a tapestry of technology that no human engineer could dream of. It moved effortlessly towards the assembly hall, stopping at the entrance. Colonel Jack Harrison, observing from the back, felt a chill run down his spine. The drone's presence was an enigma that no one had expected. The drone beeped, and a hologram flickered to life. An alien figure, the Zentari, appeared translucent before the gathered crowd. "People of Earth," it began, its voice resonating through the hall. "We are the Zentari. Your planet has been under scrutiny. We have found you wanting." A French delegate stood up, his face stern. "Wanting of what? We have strived for progress and unity." The hologram flickered as if chuckling. "Your efforts are juvenile. We are here to offer a correction." Jack's military instincts kicked in. "Correction? What gives you the right?" he challenged, stepping forward. The Zentari's eyes seemed to bore into Jack's. "We have watched empires rise and fall, planets flourish and decay. Yours is on the brink of the latter. We intend to intervene before it's too late." An African representative interjected. "By what means? Diplomacy? Education?" The drone emitted a harsher tone. "No, the Silicarum will arrive soon. They will begin the sanitation. This is your only warning." As the drone retreated and the vessel ascended, leaving behind a cloud of uncertainty, Jack knew this was just the beginning. He had to prepare. Earth had to prepare. The summit erupted into chaos, but Jack was already moving, his mind racing with strategies. The game had changed, and humanity had to outplay a new opponent. The morning after the drone's visit, the world had not yet come to terms with the reality of the alien threat. In the emergency meeting room at the Pentagon, screens flickered with data and satellite imagery. The atmosphere was tense as military leaders and government officials convened in response to the Zentari's ominous message. Jack Harrison, his uniform pristine and demeanor calm, stood before the assembly. "We've been analyzing the Zentari's tech since it left. It's beyond us, but not beyond understanding," he stated firmly, tapping on a tablet to bring up a 3D model of the drone. A voice cut through the murmur. "What about these Silicarum, the so-called sanitation?" Jack swiped on the screen, and a new image appeared. A humanoid figure, sleek and menacing. "This is our best guess. Killer robots, designed for efficiency." A young analyst in the corner spoke up. "Colonel, we've intercepted a transmission. It's from the Zentari." The room hushed as the audio played, a voice colder than the drone's, speaking of judgment and eradication. The British attaché leaned forward. "We must open a dialogue. There has to be a misunderstanding." Jack nodded. "Agreed, but we also prepare for the worst. We have 2 weeks before these Silicarum arrive." Suddenly, the room's main screen blinked to life. A Zentari was on the line, its image causing an instant silence. "Colonel Harrison," it addressed him directly. "You are a tactician. You know when a battle is lost." Jack met its gaze through the screen. "I know better than to surrender without understanding my opponent." The Zentari paused, as if reassessing. "Very well, Colonel. You will see the futility soon enough." The transmission cut abruptly, leaving a heavy weight in the room. Jack turned to the others. "We have 2 weeks to turn the tide. Let's get to work." As the team dispersed to their tasks, Jack stayed behind, his thoughts on the countless lives at stake. The world was on the brink, and he was one of the few standing on the edge, ready to push back. The world was in a frenzy of military activity, but no one felt the urgency more acutely than Colonel Jack Harrison as he stepped into the underground resistance headquarters, a repurposed bunker from days when earthbound wars were the only concern. Here, a covert assembly of the brightest minds and bravest soldiers was taking form. "Time's a luxury we don't have," Jack announced to the room. "We're not just defending our home, we're proving our worth." Across the table, Dr. Lena Ortiz, a lead engineer in robotics, adjusted her glasses. "The Zentari underestimated us. We've been in touch with other civilizations, sympathizers. They've seen what we didn't. The Galactic Union isn't unanimous." Jack's second-in-command, Major Ravi Singh, leaned in. "You're saying we have allies out there?" Lena nodded. "We have a window into their network, alien tech. If we can reverse engineer it." A murmur of hope passed through the room. Jack smiled wryly. "Let's get to it then." Hours turned into days as they worked tirelessly, decrypting alien communications and learning of the wider cosmos. Jack, between coordinating with global defense units, found himself often in the tech lab, watching Lena and her team with fascination. A breakthrough came when Lena successfully interfaced with an alien device. "We've got access, looks like schematics, for the Silicarum." Jack peered at the holographic blueprints. "Can we exploit a weakness?" "Maybe, but we can also send a message," Lena proposed. "A message?" Jack questioned. "To the Union. To show them what humans are made of. Not through pleas, but through action." Lena's eyes gleamed with determination. Jack nodded in agreement. "Draft it. Let's show them humanity's worth." As Lena drafted the message, Jack knew they were about to embark on a diplomatic mission unlike any before, armed with nothing but human courage and the hope of kindred spirits among the stars. In the hushed twilight before dawn, Colonel Jack Harrison surveyed the terrain through night vision binoculars. The once tranquil hills were now laced with trenches and camouflaged shelters. His troops, a mix of seasoned veterans and raw recruits, waited in silence for the imminent onslaught of the Silicarum. "Remember, we can't outgun them, but we can outsmart them. Stick to the shadows, hit hard, and vanish," Jack whispered into his comlink. Major Ravi Singh crouched beside him, his voice low. "Ambush points are set. We won't let these tin cans take us without a fight." A dull throb pulsed in the air, and distant lights cut through the pre-dawn haze. The Silicarum fleet approached. Jack's pulse quickened, not with fear, but with a primal, combative urge. He gripped the high-tech disruptor, a meld of human and alien engineering, gifted by their newfound allies. As the robotic horde advanced into the valley, a soldier beside Jack murmured, "Here we go." His breath was a cloud of mist that faded into the chill air. Jack gave the signal, and the world erupted. Explosions tore through the invaders' ranks, and the air crackled with energy as disruptor beams found their mark. The Silicarum, caught off guard, fired back, but their shots met only shadows. The human fighters danced a deadly ballet of hit-and-run tactics, vanishing only to strike again. Jack led his squad through the melee, each encounter a testament to human adaptability. At the break of dawn, the valley lay scarred, the Silicarum forces thinned. Jack's team had survived the night, but this was only the first skirmish of what promised to be a long, grueling resistance. As he looked at the faces of his soldiers, Jack saw not just resolve, but a fierce joy. This was humanity standing its ground, not with overwhelming force, but with the cunning and bravery that had seen it through millennia on Earth. The dim glow of the command center cast long shadows on the walls as Jack met with the leaders of the alien sympathizers. They were an eclectic group, some humanoid, others distinctly not. The holo projector displayed a map dotted with Silicarum positions and potential targets. "Your plan is ambitious, Colonel Harrison," one of the aliens, a Mathura with iridescent scales, said skeptically. "Even with our intel, your forces are unpredictable." "That unpredictability is our strength," Jack asserted confidently. A Tagnic ambassador clicked its mandibles. "Your species' resilience is intriguing. We can offer technology to shield your cities temporarily." Lena Ortiz, who had been quietly observing, spoke up. "What if we could do more than hide? If we could turn some of their robots against them?" Murmurs of interest circled the room. Jack's gaze locked onto Lena's. "Is that possible?" She nodded, her expression serious. "With the right approach, we could reprogram the Silicarum units to fight for us. We'll need a capture team." The room buzzed with a mix of excitement and concern. A capture mission was risky, but the reward was high. Ravi stepped forward. "We have volunteers ready, people who believe in this enough to risk everything." Jack addressed the group. "This is more than a fight for Earth. It's a statement. We won't be bullied into extinction. We adapt, we overcome, and we'll start with the Silicarum." The representatives exchanged nods of agreement, some solemn, some eager. As the meeting adjourned, Jack pulled Ravi aside. "Make sure the teams are ready. Every soldier needs to know what's at stake." Ravi saluted. "They'll be ready, Jack." The operation was set. In the dead of night, Jack's teams moved out, ghosting through the dark to where a Silicarum unit patrolled. It was a high-stakes gambit, an attempt to steal fire from the gods. And it was humanity's next leap into the unknown, driven by the hope of an alliance forged from the fires of desperation. Under the cloak of darkness, Jack led a hand-picked squad through the ruins of a city now silent but for the distant hum of Silicarum patrols. Their mission, capture a robot and bring it back for reprogramming. The air was thick with the smell of char and the electric scent of ozone, a reminder of the enemy's destructive capabilities. "We're close," whispered Ravi, pointing to the flickering lights of a patrol unit ahead. The Silicarum was a towering figure, its movements precise, almost elegant. Jack signaled his squad to fan out, their movements practiced and quiet. "Lena, are you ready?" he asked through his comm link. Her voice came steady as ever. "We're set, just bring us one of those things in one piece." Jack's team sprang into action, a choreographed assault with net launchers and EMP grenades. The Silicarum turned, sensors flaring red just as the net enveloped it. Electricity crackled, and the machine went rigid, caught off balance. "Move!" Jack barked, and they rushed in, securing the robot. It was a race against time now, the Silicarum's distress signal a beacon to its brethren. They hauled the deactivated unit back to the lab where Lena and her team waited. Jack watched, holding his breath, as they began the intricate work of reprogramming the Silicarum. Time ticked by, each second stretching out until finally, Lena straightened up. "We've got it. This one's ours now." A cheer went up from the team, but Jack knew this was just the beginning. "Prepare to move out. We're not just fighting back now, we're taking the fight to them." With a cadre of converted Silicarum at their side, Jack's forces launched a series of raids, striking with the very power the enemy had wielded against them. Each victory inspired more daring plans, each converted robot a symbol of their burgeoning hope. As word spread of their success, humanity's morale surged. They were not merely surviving, they were adapting, fighting back with the very tools designed to be their undoing. And with each passing day, the tide of war shifted imperceptibly in their favor. Jack stood on the command platform, the converted Silicarum units towering beside him, a sight no human had ever imagined. Below, the horizon glowed with the fires of battle. Today was the culmination of every sleepless night, every daring gamble, the Battle of Blue Planet. Ravi approached, his expression grim. "The Silicarum main fleet is advancing, Colonel. It's now or never." Jack nodded, gripping the railing. "Signal all units. This is where we make our stand." As the battle commenced, the sky erupted into a tapestry of light and sound, with human and Silicarum ships intertwined in a deadly dance. Jack coordinated the movements from the ground, a maestro of mayhem, as reports flowed in. Then, the moment they had dreaded, the lead Silicarum commander, a machine of mythic proportions, entered the fray. It cut a swath through the defenders, heading straight for the heart of their operations. Jack donned his battle gear. "I'm going out there," he declared. "Colonel, you can't," Ravi protested, but Jack was resolute. "This is my fight, Major. Hold the line." On the field, the clash was titanic, the air electric with the energy of shields and the whine of particle beams. Jack met the commander head-on, his disruptor pitting human tenacity against cold machine logic. The battle raged, a storm of defiance against a sea of cold metal. The ground shook with the impact of each blow, but Jack stood unyielding, a lone figure embodying the unbreakable spirit of his species. As the commander faltered under the onslaught of humanity's resolve, Jack delivered the final blow, disabling the hulking automaton. It was the turning point, a signal to the Silicarum and the watching galaxy that humanity would not go quietly. Exhausted but victorious, Jack gazed at the horizon as the remnants of the Silicarum forces retreated. Around him, soldiers cheered, embracing each other in relief and joy. The Battle of Blue Planet would be remembered as the day when humanity, in the face of extinction, had stood strong and claimed their place among the stars. The aftermath of the battle brought a surreal calm over the planet. Wreckage littered the battlegrounds, a stark reminder of the recent chaos. Yet, amidst the devastation, there was an undeniable sense of triumph and renewal. Jack Harrison stood before a gathering of Earth's leaders and representatives from the Galactic Union, his uniform bearing the scars of battle. The conference room, once a place of dire strategizing, was now filled with the light of cooperation and hope. "As we stand here today," Jack began, his voice carrying across the room, "we do so not just as survivors, but as victors. Victors who have earned the right to be heard, to be seen as equals." The Zentari representative, who once viewed humanity as a primitive threat, now stepped forward, extending a hand in peace. "Colonel Harrison, your actions have opened our eyes. We misjudged your kind, seeing only chaos where there was potential. We offer not just our apologies, but our alliance." Jack shook his hand, a gesture watched by the entire galaxy. "Let this be a lesson to us all," he said. Fear of what we do not understand can lead to conflict, but respect and cooperation bring true peace. The assembly erupted in applause, not just for the peace achieved, but for the new era it heralded. As the delegates mingled, discussing plans for reconstruction and integration, Jack found himself looking out a large window at the earth below, a blue and green orb teeming with life, and now, possibilities. Later, as the sun set, Jack walked through the ruins of a city being rebuilt. Children played among the beams and girders, their laughter a music more potent than any victory march. He stopped by a makeshift memorial where names of the fallen were inscribed, his fingers tracing the letters. A young officer approached him, salute crisp. "Sir, what now for us?" Jack turned, his eyes reflecting the setting sun. "Now we build, we learn, we grow. We've shown the galaxy our spirit, and it's time we nurture that spirit." As he walked away, his silhouette a part of the landscape of renewal, the story of humanity's defiance and ingenuity was already being woven into the fabric of universal lore. They had faced annihilation and responded not just with force, but with courage and wisdom. This was not just a new chapter for Earth, but for the cosmos, as they all stepped into a future where humanity was not just a participant, but a leader in the great celestial dance.